You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Welcome to Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour. I am your host, Douglas B., and you can listen to us live the first Tuesday of every month at 1 p.m. here on your Lone Star Community Radio station. Got a big show for you today. Absolutely huge. I think you'll like it. But as always, let's do a little housekeeping. You can contact us in studio on our Google phone, 936-344-3083. Drop me an email over at info.veteransair.us or stop by the website and use our contact form and we can exchange ideas. So the title of today's show is Lost Love and Other Fact-Checked Conspiracies. And when I do things like this, I have to read this statement because I don't want Dick to get in trouble. So, the views and opinions expressed during this program are mine and mine alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of this station, irlonestar.com, Lone Star Community Radio, its subsidiaries, or sponsors. Warning to our listeners, all four of you out there, if you do not understand sarcasm, Princess George, or recognize sarcasm in the spoken form, then you might not want to listen to today's show. I just wanted to warn you straight up. So, there's a lot of things happening in our country today. We have the Delta variant of COVID-19. We have the crisis at the border. We have a whole bunch of stuff going on. Defund the police movement and crime in the cities. Excuse me. It's very early in the morning for me. So I thought I'd put this together to catch you all up on things that you may have known but missed the first time you heard them. Vaccines and the COVID-19 Delta variant. It seemed like we were coming out of this COVID pandemic, and then all of a sudden, it's back again. And I believe we're being lied to, because the world has spent more than a year battling COVID-19. And now we are faced with new mask mandates, possibly economy shutdowns, forced vaccinations from our government. Why can't people understand that you must take the vaccine or you will die and kill everyone? This Delta variant is nothing to sneeze at. It is so contagious, it could almost be categorized as a weapon of mass destruction. Look, your elected officials were elected to these positions because, in a sense, you knew that they were your intellectual betters. The government leaders and experts they appointed over you, you should trust them with your life and the life of your children simply because they know better than you on what is healthy and what isn't. As President Biden said, and I quote, "You're killing people if you don't get the vaccine," unquote. Enough hearing about the right-wing Republican science-denying white supremacist Donald Trump voters trying to convince people that this virus came from a medical research lab in Wuhan, China. Enough of this. The truth is, and listen to this, because this is the truth. The truth is that saying that this virus came from a leaked bio lab in Wuhan, China can be farther from the truth. I mean, that is like so far out there. Our investigation and common sense bears us out. The Delta variant of COVID-19 is extraterrestrial in nature. It is. Follow me on this, because what I'm about to tell you may be shocking. And it has been fact-checked by Facebook, Twitter, and the One World government and we got this information from a highly placed anonymous operative within the one world government. So this is, fact checked. As we all know, many years ago, the United Federation of Planets Starship Voyager, under the command of the heroic Captain Janeway, was transported to the Delta Quadrant of our galaxy, and it was trapped there. Now, while they were there, the entire crew was exposed to this Delta variant from the Delta Quadrant. They didn't know it because they were asymptomatic. And the emergency medical holographic program was not equipped to diagnose this. So they didn't know or had a way to find out and recognize the danger that they were in. Once the crew was rescued from the Delta Quadrant of our galaxy and returned to Earth, they were sequestered in Area 51, but the virus escaped. How did it escape, you might ask? Well, I'm glad that you asked. The virus escaped during the attack, if you remember this, last year, the attack by right-wing Republican science-denying white supremacists led by the twice impeached and totally disgraced former President Donald J. Trump. The virus is not man-made. It was made by illegal aliens from beyond the Crab Nebula and sent to Earth to kill off the human and bat population while leaving the infrastructure intact. Either join with the rest of humanity and take the vaccine, or sentence the entire human race and bat population to death. This is the Delta variant of COVID-19 that we need to worry about. It makes one think when you stop and think critically about what the experts are putting out and why they would be putting out this information, and what you, yourself, and your loved ones and your friends and family are doing. If you stop to think critically about it, this is the only explanation of where this Delta variant came from. Makes sense. And, often the simplest answer is the correct answer. So now you know. Let's talk about, for a moment, the crisis on the border, shall we? There is no crisis on the border. Granted, the number of migrants entering the United States has had a small uptick in the number of people entering the United States in recent months, but this is natural and spurred on by climate change and exacerbated by the science-denying right-wing extremists. If you look just at the numbers, there's only a small uptick in the amount of people coming over. And this is all due to the root causes of climate change. I mean, if the climate wasn't changing, people wouldn't be coming here. The truth is that a vast majority of these people are hardworking individuals coming here to share their wealth, their skills, and their intellect with the United Statesians. The world's greatest thinkers and doers are coming to our country to help us, you and me, out in our time of need. They just happen to be coming through the southern border. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're from any particular place south of the border. They're world citizens. And the United States is part of the world globally. So they have just as much right to come here as anybody else. Trump's wall did his best to keep out these hardworking people, but thankfully that construction has stopped, and the people can finally flee the oppressive regimes and exercise their God-given right to protection offered by the United States Constitution. That's right. The United States Constitution. Everybody in the world has the right to the protections offered under this. Now, this is a flawed document, but still, its overall principle that the government grants you some protections and the government grants you specific liberties still remains true. It is a human right for everybody to be a United States citizen. It's a human right for everyone to be a United States citizen. Now, I've personally heard the hogwash about some of these immigrants that are coming over might I tell you, have COVID-19. This has not been proven in any scientific study. Our Vice President Kamala Harris, has visited the border countless times, and personally has tested a good portion of the few immigrants requesting entry and has not found one single case of COVID-19. Trust in our leaders, trust in our intellectual betters, trust in CNN, and you can't go wrong. Because face it, folks, unless we follow every order, every suggestion, every thing that our government tells us to do, how can we really be free? And I'm getting really tired of turning on the news and listening to these science-denying, right-wing extremists, domestic terrorists saying things that like, well, free speech is protected. No, free speech is not protected under the Constitution. What's protected under the Constitution is your right to speak what your government tells you you can speak. That's what's protected. The Constitution. You know, if we look at these two topics, the crisis at the border and COVID-19 Delta variant, we can see how those two dovetail together. And this is a perfect storm for the right-wing wackadoodles. Because they go spouting off some incoherent tirade about how the few people that actually cross the border illegally are carrying this COVID-19. Well, let's check this out. First off, we're not going to eradicate the COVID-19. It is extraterrestrial virus from the Delta Quadrant of our galaxy. We're not going to eradicate it. And if those people, these extremists, had not attacked Area 51 last year, the Delta variant wouldn't have never gotten released in the first place. So they're the ones to be blamed for this. Second, maybe it's true that one or two of the immigrants crossing our borders did have COVID-19, but it's such a rare few cases that it happens that it can be contained. I mean, we only have coming across the border a handful of people, and our border patrol is capturing them. I don't want to get into a whole long discussion about how the border patrol is putting them in cages and tearing kids away from their mothers. We all know what's happening there. We see it every day. But those two issues that are happening in the United States today, to United Statesians, dovetail so close together, it's hard to separate them apart. But we need to think of these things critically. And if we have an opinion one way or the other about these things, and we're curious, just listen to the news. Just listen to Dr. Fauci. Just listen to President Biden. They'll tell you what to think. And if you miss their sound bites, Jen Psaki, I mean, wow. She has a way of cutting through the rhetoric to get right to the point. And it, she'll always circle back, to make that point over again. I'm talking too fast, Dick. I'm talking too fast. Let's talk about defund the police movement. Oh my lordy. I cannot turn on the TV, the radio, turn to an iPad, slow down, a iPodcast or a podcast, whatever it is you want to listen to, without hearing about this. I can't turn on the news without hearing about gun violence in Chicago. There's obviously a problem with guns in Chicago, that they're running amok in the city. Their ARs and handguns just roaming the streets in gangs, just shooting people. It's something will have to be done. But anyway, all that, this defund the police movement, you're going to be surprised when I tell you this shocking revelation that our investigators have come across. It's going to rock your world, because it rocked mine. I did not know this. The so-called defund the police movement is a false narrative. It is. It's a false narrative, first uttered by the twice impeached, totally disgraced former President Donald J. Trump and his right-wing, Republican, science-denying, white supremacist supporters. That's a fact. Oh, hey, that reminds me of something. Because if y'all are on a streaming service, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, or whatnot, I can't remember where I saw this, but there was a movie out there that I saw just the other day called The Hunt, and you need to check that out. Excellent movie. There has been no city in the United States that has in any way, shape, or form defunded their police departments. None. This is a lie that there were cities out there defunding their police. It was a lie concocted by the Fox News Network and supported by Tucker Carlson. Yep, it's a total lie. The truth is, very few cities have made any significant cuts to their police force at all. A few small rural communities have transferred a small amount of their policing budgets from direct policing to social programs, but those are few and far between. And we're talking just reallocating a couple of $1,000s here and there to more social programs that make the community safer overall. And the more time that passes and this happens, shows that these enlightened and primarily Democratic-led cities have lower crime rates overall. That's a fact. You can look at statistics. It'll tell you that. Because it is only human nature that crime rates would be lower if we can get rid of the police. If you think critically about this topic, you will conclude, as I have, that it is human nature for people to live together in peace and harmony. Police are the cause of crime and violence. It is the systemic racist police who are causing all the problems themselves by being police. And being police, which, as everybody knows, is just an enforcement arm of the right-wing, science-denying, white supremacist Republican Party. In today's day and age, you don't need police. You don't need to protect yourself. And walking around, carrying bazookas, thinking it's your Second Amendment right. You don't need that. We've evolved as a species, and humans no longer prey on their fellow humans. Humans, if given the chance, are kind, loving, and nurturing people. It is the climate-denying right-wing wackadoodles that are causing all the problems. They want to say that they have facts on their side. No, I think they're all made up. CNN would tell us better what true facts are. And if we can't count on CNN, there's always MSNBC. I mean, these are the places that disseminate fact and nothing but fact for you and me every single day. There will always be crime as long as we have science-denying, white supremacist Republican Party. But there is hope on the horizon. I don't want to be a doom and gloom guy because there's hope out there. The January 6th Commission will soon rat out these racist, homophobic, white nationalists and jail them. Now go watch The Hunt. I did a big long piece on the January 6th Commission. I decided not to go with that, but to go with some other things. But I am following that very, very closely. And here at Veterans Air, our certified fact checkers and investigative reporters are deep embedded undercover within that January 6th Commission at the request of Nancy. So expect to hear more about this as the true facts come out about what happened on January 6th. Let's talk for a second or two about the United States Constitution. Our founding document, if not literally, then at least in principle. Because this is written, 240 some odd years ago. Times have changed. We need to bring it more up to date. The bottom line is that the U.S. Constitution is a flawed and outdated concept. If you're a regular listener of this show, then you know I've been saying this for years now. That has been my stance on every single show. That we need to replace and repeal the Constitution because it is outdated. The people that now claim to stand behind this piece of paper are out of touch with today and are living in a past dream. They're clinging to this, living into a past dream. Yes, when this country was first founded 200 years ago by the racist founding fathers, everyone needed a gun so they can go out and shoot squirrels because that's all they had to eat. Every single one of those racist founding fathers overthrew the benevolent king that they were supposed to be supporting. Reality has shown that democratic socialism is the only true, fair government system. Not a constitutional republic, not pure democracy. The only thing that is fair and just and sustainable is democratic socialism. And people get scared when they hear those words. Our current leaders, they're doing their best to bring democratic socialism to the forefront in the United States by enacting just laws and through executive orders They're doing their best. It is true that some of these new programs and laws might increase taxes a tiny bit. But if they do, it's going to be by such a very small amount, and it would only affect the uber rich. It's these uber rich people that are a majority of the problem with their mega companies. I mean, think about it. Jeffy just launched himself into space on a giant phallic symbol. And what's worse is he sold rides to that to other uber rich people. You want to talk about waste? I mean, all of that money that he spent for that to launch himself into space for 10 seconds, along with other uber rich people, he could have given that money to the people that really, really deserve it. These uber rich, they have wealth and are resisting the distribution of that wealth to the people that truly earned it and need it more than they do. That's right. I said it. Talking heads and politicos and whatnot have been dancing around this topic here for a year now. But here it is. If you're rich, if you're comfortably middle class, you have more money than you need, and there's other people that need that money more and deserve it more than you do, and that's a fact. If you're not willing to give to these people, then I think our government should take it from you. Is that simple? I would gladly pay more tax right now, but the law says my tax rate is this much, and that's how much I have to pay. I can't pay more. I can only pay that much. But if they change the law and I was able to pay more taxes or give my money to somebody else, I would do that. Definitely, I would. When will this country wake up to reality? We just saw the richest man in the world launch himself. Wait a second. I just talked about that, didn't I? Yes, I just did. Giant phallic symbol rocket man. Did you watch that? I watched it live on TV. It was awe-inspiring. It made me proud to be a United Statesian. I mean, he builds this giant phallic symbol of a rocket and then climbs into the head and spurts himself off into space. That is the best of the best of a democratic socialist government ever. I mean, seriously, that's just like awesome. I think as a reward that he should take a great portion of his wealth and redistribute that to people who deserve it. I mean, I want you to think about this for a second. Let's think about workers. Let's think about employees. Let's say the janitorial staff. Their job is to go into the office building and clean the floors, clean the toilets, empty the trash, dust off stuff, yada, yada, yada. And they're making minimum wage. And then you have the CEO and chairman of the board of this mega company that makes, millions of dollars a year. We know, if we stop and think critically, that janitorial person there is just as important to the success of the company and the stockholders as that CEO. I mean, when we compare both of them apples to apples, there's really no difference between the two. Education-wise or creative idea-wise, or the ability to be a CEO of a mega company, janitorial guy is just as good doing it as the CEO. So I think that we should have an equality of pay here because it's the only fair thing to do. I mean, just look at this show here. this show right here. We have two people doing this show. We have me and Engineer Dick. And we are absolutely the exact same. If he was not to show up to do his job, I could step in and do his job easily. I mean, okay, well, not easily, but I could definitely do it. I know what every single little knob on that control board does. Did you know that, Dick? I think he's like rolling over. He's giving me the thumbs up. Yeah, of course I could do that. Absolutely. We need to think about this as a nation, think about these topics. But they are of great concern to everybody listening to my voice. The Delta variant from the Delta Quadrant, which is beyond the Crab Nebula. I mean, for years, for decades, there's been wackadoodles out there saying, oh, I saw a UFO, I saw a UFO. And you know what? Now that we know where this Delta variant of COVID-19 came from, they were probably right. We have probably been visited for decades, and this is why they abducted people and abducted cows and do called cattle mutilation, so they can perfect this virus to kill us all. So let's take that a little bit serious. Mask up, wash your hands, stay 6 feet away from somebody, and by all means, make sure your baby is wearing a mask. Do your part to help out. I want you to also think about the crisis on the border, because you may be hearing conflicting views. The truth is, there are a few people crossing the Rio Grande, very, very few. And these that do cross the Rio Grande from the what they call the Triangle countries, Nicaragua, Honduras, and so forth, I mean, they're small children. They're 5 and 8 year olds. You've seen the pictures. Just imagine what they had to go through to walk that entire way from Honduras up to here unescorted. How they survived, I will never know, but I think they've had a harrowing journey, and they need to be let into this country and given everything that this country can do to support them. Think about defunding the police. What have you done in your community to defund the police department? It is filled with systemic racism. We know this. We've heard this. It's police departments are systemically racist. What have you done to defund the police in your community? Have you gone to the city council? Have you protested? Because if we got rid of our police departments, then people could come into your homes, and you could be able to share with them. If we got rid of our police departments, you could. If we didn't have the police departments, you could like volunteer in a soup kitchen, on the food lines, handing out food. If we didn't have police, you could raise money for the homeless, or put them in hotels, or, dare I say it, give them your bedroom. What's stopping people from doing that is the police department. The police department says that you cannot volunteer at a homeless shelter. The police department says that you can't volunteer at the food bank. Yeah, go ahead and try. You'll see the police stop you. They stop you from going to volunteer to do these things, to help out in your community. So we need to start thinking seriously about defunding our police department because of the systemic racism. So, how much time? I wasn't paying attention. How much time I got, Dick? I had 20 minutes? 20 minutes? Well, you know what? I think I can do this. I can do this in 20 minutes. I'll probably be a little short on the 20-minute side. So, we need to do a shout out to our sponsors. Dick, you want to throw up that beautiful EMW graphics? Let me give a shout out to some of our sponsors before I forget. Veterans Air is made possible by the support of East Meets West Productions, a full-service business and marketing consultant, helping veterans start and fund their businesses for over 30 years. They pay me so I can do the show. Thank you, EMW. For more information on EMW and how they can help you, you can give them a call at 361-904-0044. We're going to flash the Bitter Glitter graphic that I made. And I want to give a shout out to DV Tanya over there at bitterglitter.us. And if you're not following bitterglitter.us, you should. A lot of things are happening over there. Bitterglitter.us creates motivational gifts designed by veterans for veterans. And I like this organization because 100% of the profits goes back in to veteran support. Each year they either pick a veteran service organization or some other worthy organization to give all the profits back to them, or even give out checks to veterans. So it's a great organization to be involved with. Take a sip here because I'm getting dry mouth. Oh, you know what? Guess what? This is August. And in August, we have two very important dates that we need to celebrate. The first is my wife's birthday, which is coming up here really, really shortly. So I'm gonna sing to her. I'm gonna sing to my wife, happy birthday. You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday, boy or girl. Happy birthday, baby. And the second important date in August is our anniversary. I have been married for 37 years. And when I tell people that, they look at me and they go, to the same woman? Yes, I've been married to the same woman for 37 years. So on that note, I want to say happy birthday to my loving wife. And as I do every year, I'm sorry for having to live with me. Because, you know, it's difficult living with me. I'm a difficult person to live with. I know that. Because I am so humble and so self-depreciating, depreciating, however you say that word. I mean, it's difficult to live with me. I mean, you may not know this, but I suffer from a mental condition that's known as Mary Poppins syndrome. I'm practically perfect in every way, and that could be, you know, hard for other people to live with. So happy birthday, and happy anniversary, my love. I will see you soon. Speaking of love, I'm going to do a lost love here. Dick, can you flash the I miss you photo? He says, yeah, it's up. So this story came to me, and I was so touched by it that I said, I'm going to put this out on the radio. This is a real thing. It's not a conspiracy. This is actually a lost love connection here. With all seriousness. Seriously, I actually mean that. I guess I should have done this first before I went to the conspiracy things, huh, Dick? But yeah, this is 100% real. Let me set the story for you. Let me set the scene. It's late in the summer of 1982. And in a KOA campground outside of San Antonio lives a woman named Dawn Ann Thompson and her children. For sure, Dawn has made some bad choices in her life, looking for love in all the wrong places, as the song says. But she is doing the best she can for herself and her children. Dawn came down to Texas, lured by the promise of a better life and a better love. But sadly, that turned out like the rest of her dreams, living in a campground outside of San Antonio. Living in the KOA campground wasn't really bad, but everything she valued and everything of value was in a U-Haul type of trailer parked in a lot outside of the campground. In that trailer, there were birth certificates, medical records, death certificates of her newborn daughter, Raven Marie Thompson, family memorabilia, Pictures and papers, small mementos of family history, sorted household items of no particular value at all. Flash forward to early fall of the same year, 1982, and Dawn has decided it was time to go back to Colorado and try to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. That's when she noticed that the trailer was gone. No longer there. Kind of hard to put things in the trailer when the trailer was missing. Somewhere between late summer and early fall, in the year of 1982, this trailer grew feet and walked, as my mom would say. No one saw anything. No one knew anything. Of course, a police report was filed, but seriously, what can the police really do in a situation like this other than search local impound lots? It's not their fault. The trailer and all of the family history and all of their mementos were gone, never to be seen again. Now, flash forward 39 years. And the daughter of Dawn Ann tells me this story as we're collaborating on a veteran support project together. The daughter, Nikki, is very involved with supporting veterans and police, so we were bound to meet sooner or later. This picture on your screen that you see now, this is the only picture of her mother and baby sister, Raven Marie. It's the only picture that she has nothing else. Someone had that trailer. And someone might, just might, have some of the contents in a box or in the back of their closet or in their storage shed or the barn or a storeroom. These things might still exist. It's been almost 40 years since the summer of 1982, but maybe, just maybe, somebody has some piece of paper or a picture. And they don't know who they are. That may be Dawn Marie. Take a look around. See if you have any pictures that look like this woman. See if you have any pictures of Dawn Thompson. See if you have any paperwork that says Dawn Thompson on it, or Dawn Ann Thompson, or Raven Marie. You may have in the back of your barn right now a piece of paper that doesn't mean anything to you, but would mean everything to this family and everything to Dawn Marie's daughter. Why is it so important? Why am I sending you on this hunt looking for pictures and paper? Dawn Marie recently passed. She's gone. Her daughter and her brothers and sisters, her daughter and Dawn Marie's daughters and brother, can't speak today. Her children don't have anything from that time in their lives. They were all small children at that time. And now that their mom has passed, they're looking back and going, can I recover any of that? Can I recover that past time? Can I see a picture of my mom or of my baby sister? Somebody may have something out there that you think are trash. But if it has anything to do with this, it's not trash. You're giving something to Dawn's children that they'll cherish forever. If you have something, if you think you might have something, some picture, some clue, please let us know. You can contact me via text on our Google phone, 936-344-3083. Or you can even email. You can email Nikki, that's Nikki, at douglandia, DOUGLANDI.com. And we'll get back in touch with you. Please, let's all kidding aside, let's check our closets, see if we have something. This trailer went someplace. And I know Texans. Texans, if you come across something that's a fairly heirloom or a family piece of paper, we tend to hang on to it until we can find who it belongs to. That's what Texans do. So that about wraps up our show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found Conspiracies and Lost Loves to be interesting. I want to remind you to tune in on September 6th at 1 p.m. for our next show. No, I have no idea what I do know what we're going to be doing in September. This September is the 20th anniversary, I don't know a better word for that, of the tragedy that befell us on September 11th. And it is that day, September 11th, that changed my life forever. Before September 11th, I wasn't like this. I was somebody totally different. And September 11th changed my life on a elemental basis, I guess is a good way to say it. So we're going to do something for September 11th. I'll come up with something appropriate. I'm sure that I will. And remember to go and like veteransair.us on Facebook. Like us and follow us. We have 4 followers now. I'd like to see me break that 5 point. I should do a shout thing for sponsoring this show. Hey, you can sponsor Veterans Air. You may have not known that, but you can. You can sponsor Veterans Air, and you can contact the radio station. You can contact me to see about sponsor opportunities. I think Dick actually has a little flyer that he's going to throw up there about sponsoring Veterans Air. We would gladly appreciate it. Speaking of sponsors, if you missed last month's show about 4T4 Racing, go check them out. Veterans Air has a race car that's running. So go check them out. They help out Veterans Air and our causes a lot. That about wraps it up. I'm going to leave you with this awesome song by the Warrior Project, as we always do. And you can get this song from the warriorproject.org, from our website, or wherever you get fine music downloads. And the proceeds go to help out veterans all over. While listening to this song, let us remember our brothers and sisters in uniform that today are still standing in harm's way. They still stand for our freedoms and our liberties. If you are wearing the uniform, I want to tell you thank you. I want to tell you I am proud of you. And until next month, stay safe and stay vigilant.
Machine with a need to bleed you when the light goes green. Best believe I'm in the zone to be. From a yin to my yang to Z. Put a grin on my chin when you come to me. Cause I'll win, I'm a one of a kind, and I'll bring death to the place you're about to be. Another river of blood running under my feet. Forged in a fire lit long ago. Stand next to me, you'll never stand alone. I'm last to leave, but the first to go. Lord, make me dead before you make me old. I feed on the fear of the devil inside of the enemy faces in my sight. Aim with a hand, shoot with a mind, kill with a heart like Arctic ice.
I am a soldier and I'm marching on.
I am a soldier and I'm marching
out their living guts and use them